at the window, wearing the face that she keeps in the jar by the door. Who is it for? All the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? Father Mackenzie, writing the words of a sermon that no one will hear. No one comes near. Look at him working, darning his socks in the night when there's nobody there. What does he care? All the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? I look at all the lonely people. I look at all the lonely people. Mackenzie, wiping the dirt from his hands as he watched from the grave. No one must say, I look at all the lonely people. I look at all the lonely people. Girl.
This message, it's not for you. It's for the King who lives in you. This is not a message for humans. Humans are trying to figure out a way to save themselves. The King freely gives himself to be the Savior. You know what? If you go to Obadiah, it says, and save yours. Deliverers shall come from Mount Zion. It speaks of many, not one. And as a matter of fact, all creation, come on somebody, all of creation is waiting for one event. They're not waiting for anybody to come down on the cloud. They're waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. What's going on? Maybe your denomination is waiting for something, but your cat, your dog, and your plants at home, they're waiting to see the real thing. Out of creation, we are the only ones who happen to not know what God's plan is. He said it, if the seed abides alone, it gains nothing. But if a seed is buried in the ground and dies, it comes up and it produces many. Come on now. We got farmers in here. You take a piece of corn, you stick that in the ground, let that thing come up. First the blade, then the ear, then the full head in the ear. And when you open inside, you done put one in the ground. But when you open inside, there's rows upon rows upon rows of the identical seed that you place in the ground. The harvest is not for people who believe in Jesus. The harvest is for the seed that has matured into Jesus. Come on.
Tell me you believe it. Said what you see ain't what you get.
He's a shepherd. That's great. But he's also a bridegroom. Yeah, he leaves the 99 to go find the one little lamb who's lost. Wonderful. That will never stop. But I know there's some people in here who are sick and tired of just eating grass and drinking water and are longing for something more than just being sheep somewhere. You used to pray, Lord, help me, Lord, this, Lord, that, Lord, how Jesus, Joe, Lord Jesus, that, Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus, Jesus, please, Lord Jesus. Somewhere along the way, something changed, and now you don't pray like that anymore. And you wake up in the morning and you say, good morning. And it says, yes, what do you need? Nothing. I just can't start the day without saying hello, because you are the lover of my soul. There is a group of people here who are driving down the road, and they used to listen to Christian music all day long, but now no matter what song comes on the radio, it reminds you of how much God loves you and how much you love him. You don't even know the difference between secular because everything has become holy. Come on. Get up. And when I get this feeling, glory, somebody here know what I'm talking about. It ain't enough that he's my shepherd. It ain't enough. I know that he's done all that for me. But there's a people here who are longing for more. And I want to tell you right now, he loves his sheep. He loves them. But he ain't ever going to be intimate with no sheep. He will never sit there and caress the sheep hair and say, look at how beautiful you look. No, you're a sheep. You just go next to his feet and eat grass. But he's looking for a people who are not interested in eating grass no more. They can't live if living is without you. I can't breathe anymore. Come on, somebody. Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no river high to keep me away from you.
Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough.
Ahoy, mateys! 'Tis I, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, and I be here to tell you about me newest crowdfunding campaign. The adventures continue with me crew, the Mighty Mascots, in issues 7, 8, and 9. Just focus your looking glass on the amazing artwork of Ian Warianto and Anton Bondi. Me crew, the Mighty Mascots, are up against some scurvy scallywags, and we need ye help to defeat them. There be a bounty of exclusive treasure, only available here, where X marks the spot. I spy a huge coffer of bonuses and stretch goals on the horizon. Then please consider pledging so we can continue these adventures with the weirdest crew I ever had the pleasure of sailing with. Mascots Unleashed!
I gotta go close my studio door because dog music is playing. Hey, Diana, you gonna say hi?
Hi. Am I in? Oh, I am in.
Yeah, we're
Cool
on.
beans. Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys like that promo stuff, or whatever Chris is calling it these days. I don't know. He still does his half hour. Used to call it a pre-launch
That was
show.
not a
But
half hour, and that was not a pre-show.
what was it? What is it called now?
That was
What
just
is
a
it?
20-minute intro.
Ah, there you go. So guys, it was a 20-minute intro. It was very lively. And it was a very nice intro. But are you back?
I am back.
Okay. You're very
Why
the
did I
where
look like? I just had to close the door because the dog music is on.
oh well, I have one down here sleeping with me, so I don't
The other
know.
one's in the living room. She tried to bite my foot.
What? What did you move your foot when she was near you or something?
And for those of you who went, oh my gosh, it's a little chihuahua. She doesn't hurt me. She just kind of, and then she runs off.
Oh, it's funny.
Hi,
I
Eric.
think hello,
So,
Eric.
hi,
Hello,
Eric, Bruce,
Tim,
Tim,
Bruce.
Rick,
Who
and
else?
Terry.
Rick and
And
Terry.
I
Hey
don't think,
guys.
yeah, man, what's going
Yeah.
on?
Okay.
So I
All
was,
right.
I am
You were saying.
excited. Things are happening.
Mhm.
Diana got to read the first 3 issues of ManGai Yoshokan Sunday. I think it was
Mhm.
Monday, wasn't it?
No, it was Tuesday. I was very sick Monday. I was still wiped out. It was Tuesday. It was yesterday, remember? After
Yes,
lunch, after I came home from work,
that's
or
correct.
after dinner.
Okay, but
It was in
she
the
got to see it.
afternoon.
She got to see
Sorry.
all the artwork in issue 3 at least. The coloring is still
Mhm.
being done and there's still touch-ups, but that means I actually started drawing page 1 of issue 4.
Yes, I know. And it is a surprisingly wonderfully written story.
Well, let's qualify that. The reason she says it's surprising is because when we were talking about it, we realized it's the ManGai Yoshokan series, and he hasn't even appeared in the first 3 issues yet. It's not really something you notice until you think about it, and that's because it's all. It could almost be called a prequel if ManGai doesn't show up, but he does show up in issue 4.
Right.
So it's very
But
exciting. But the
but the
story itself
story is
doesn't lag like
really
it seems to.
no, it doesn't. It's
Yeah,
it's got a really good pace to it. It keeps you it's I feel that it is a definite page turner the way you have sort of laid it all out. And
well,
the art is probably some of the best I have seen from you up to this point, sir.
thank you,
And yes,
ma'am.
I know I'm biased, but not really, because I've
I
seen some
wanted to point out
that are not
something that I've
quite.
learned in this project because
Mhm,
we just did Trolls, which was over 100 pages,
right?
and I did Cluster, which was 80 pages total. But
Yep.
keeping the books 24 pages actually does make the story flow smoother. There's
Mhm.
something about
Yep.
the picking up and putting down of an issue or opening and closing of a file to get to the next part of the story.
Mhm.
And it lends itself to the whole, okay, now we're in the next episode. We're in the next issue. Like it's like a TV show. You expect there's been some time jump between episodes and you can play with that as the writer. Where you jump in on that next issue depends, sets up everything for the whole tone.
Exactly. So I'm watching the chat. Of course, Rick points out, do you know you have a black screen except for yourself?
Yes. No, actually,
And then Tim
that is the
chimes
new
in with
cover. That's
metaphor.
the new cover of the comic. That's the black cover. I'm
It's
copying Metallica. I'm doing homage.
You're
A
such a good
homage for Metallica's black cover, right? Hey, this is
Chris.
actually my favorite. Diana and I were talking
Oh my
just
God, I
this
gotta
week.
get him another one, you guys. He's
We need multiple
crazy.
colors because I wear it all the time. I love the
Yeah, you do.
pockets.
Mhm.
Actually, let's.
Oh,
It is
come
a little warm in
on.
here.
I'm freezing down in my office. I have literally a blanket on me. It's so cold down here. Our heat doesn't work as well down below. It doesn't sound really
Well,
good.
it's because heat rises.
Yes, that's probably why. You should get a little.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, green and orange is a particularly hot color branding.
Uh-huh.
You see it absolutely everywhere, like on orange trees. It's really predominant on orange trees. I couldn't think of much else.
Listen, he thinks he is a comedian. I don't know. I'm not like Bruce. I don't know why, but he just thinks he's a comedian. Just like,
If I said half the jokes that pop in my head, I would be like
he doesn't
not in
stop.
good shape. Oh.
No, he doesn't stop.
So let's
Anyway,
talk a little bit. I put up a new episode on Webtoons for the Great
yes,
Cyclopean
you
tonight.
did. I'm very excited.
So
about
anybody
that.
out there following that, I believe it's free to everybody who wants it. You just load up the link and read away. Subscribe and like and help me feel encouraged, especially after tonight's drop, because I have to tell you guys, there is a profile picture of Captain Aura, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I looked at it tonight as I was posting it, and it's so bad that I almost bit my fingers off. Thank God that I can see it now. But but this was in 2019, so 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
But I looked at it and I cringed and I thought, you could fix that. And then I thought, no, leave it. Because I do like seeing the progression. And I do know what's coming after that. I know things get tighter. So I'm like, all right, just live with it and enjoy it for what it was. You know, like I loved it. So I don't want to change it now.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, there's something going on here. What's that? Black September special from Malibu Press. Yes, Terry. That's a comic book event, honey. How come it didn't show? Like, oh, there it goes.
I don't know.
Hey, I've been eating lots of oranges. They are in season. You know what's funny? Aren't oranges like oranges and bananas and apples? How do they always have them? They just buy them from around the world and ship them in?
Yeah, probably. I would think, right?
I mean, prices go up when they're out of season, but it always amazes me. Like it can be the middle of winter in New England, and they'll still manage to have green and red or green and purple grapes and all these other fruits and vegetables. And I'm like, are they shipping them in from around the world? Like that has to be what they're doing.
I don't know.
Which makes me worry about
I would
preservatives.
think. I mean, well, Florida still has oranges. I mean, they're in season.
Yeah, but you know, the oranges are kind of funny because they concentrate so much of it because they grow so much and they'll store it and then just reuse it, you know, when they need it. I didn't know that. There's spiders are hitching rides in boxes. We need to be careful.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so you have a lot of boxes behind your head there.
Those are not boxes. Shut up. That is my art. That's my studio. What are you talking about? All right, that's it. No more looking at my studio.
So Webtoons is up. Oh, that's not fair. Come on, come back. Thank you. You did go through the third proof. I did revisions because there were a couple of things that needed some smoothing. She hasn't seen those yet, but she will Sunday.
We are going to be launching sooner than later. Right?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Christopher, you did a typo in your link.
Oh, I didn't type that. I'm gonna have to fire I'm gonna fire my assistant.
I didn't do it.
I didn't say it was you. I have another assistant now.
Do you really?
Yeah, I have an intern. I'm gonna have to call him up and fire him.
I see. So
yeah. Look at that. He spelled it Hero Shekel or something.
So yes, that would be Chris.
Thank you, Rick.
Chris is notorious for misspelling, and Bruce. Well, yes, they are into manga. Chris is doing a manga inspired comic currently. If you look,
well, you know what? That's what it started off as, but I wouldn't.
Did you see that?
I wouldn't necessarily.
Did Did you see that
No,
comment from Bruce? I don't have the rights to highlight. So he said he's new to the channel, but he must have subscribed a while back. Are you into manga art? So I wanted to focus on that
well,
because he's
yes and
new.
no. I'm a Western artist, and this book incorporates manga influences, particularly in the writing, but also when drawing, particularly children. The monsters look more Western, but the kids are in 8th grade, and I get to play with that very much so, because I really do like the way manga kids look. In fact, I like the way manga looks, period. It's just, I like the blend. I like, I still love John Bernhardt. I still love John Buscema, Todd McFarlane. There's so many that it's like still blending. I have to let the cat out. Hang on.
The cat? You have the cat in your office?
I had Gracie in my office.
Oh my God. You're kidding me.
Yeah, I'm a regular Doolittle tonight, Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, you are. Hey, Herman.
So I've been thinking about AI. I will never use it, but I'm going to allow the levity, the same kind of levity that's allowed to rap music that samples heavily. I mean, it's in its infancy. I don't like it. I don't plan on supporting anything created with it, but obviously enough people are using it that it's going to be something that we have to deal with in the future. Welcome, Herman P. Hunter. Hey, how's that arm, Herman?
What happened?
He had a vicious attack today and got swiped by a claw and ripped open his forearm.
Oh no. That's terrible.
It wasn't that bad. It was a scratch from his dog, but I'm
God.
dramatizing.
I know.
How'd
I
you
haven't gotten
going?
the new book yet. I gotta get that. Anyway,
That
sorry,
was
guys.
the other thing. We did get a new book that I gave away and got a review back on, and that's on the site. We added that to the blog. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is happening? Your school is another step closer to being graduated.
Yay.
And then, guys, we get her full time. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What do you mean Twitter made you delete the tweet?
I
About
don't
what?
doubt it. Twitter makes us delete all sorts of stuff.
I don't use Twitter except to share like tonight's stream and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I shared it. The thing is, I don't think we get much traction on Twitter, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I
that's
throw it
all
up
right.
there, but I'm like, if 2 or 3
Well,
of
no,
my
I
friends
just
come, that's
was
great.
looking at the chat, and Herman said that Twitter made him delete the tweet. Was that the tweet? Oh my gosh. The picture of your arm with the cut on it. Oh my goodness. You're
Yeah,
kidding me.
it was pretty. Yeah, it was horrifically graphic.
It was a bloody scrape. Oh my gosh. They're
It
so
wasn't
bad.
that
I
bad.
don't like Twitter. I'm not a Twitter girl.
But Twitter is
So-
really, yeah, they're like that.
So we have in the chat, I'm kind of reading that. AI art is a tool. I can go with that. I'm not an artist though, so I don't really know much about it.
Well, here's the thing. I was actually in a very similar situation when rapping started. I was playing a guitar, heavy metal, and I really resented the sampling. I thought that was just, you're cheating totally. But after 40 years of it, I'm kind of immune to it. And AI is already starting to feel that way to me when I see it. Even if it's impressive, if I know it's AI, it's like, okay, so who really drew all this stuff? But I was getting upset about it in a very similar fashion. And I think I found the way around it. It's just take it for what it's worth, and if you know that it's just filters and AI, artificial intelligence.
Is that what
it
stands for?
What's that?
That's what that stands for, right?
AI?
AI.
Yeah, it stands for artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Get it?
So how is
Art,
that? Yeah,
artificial.
art.
But yeah,
And-
artificial intelligence.
I'm not even. I'll just look it up on my own. Thank you very much. I don't
So
know
I'm
what
going
he's
to open up StreamYard
Yeah, you should
unless
do
you have
that.
anything else to announce.
I graduate on the 30th of April.
Hey, did we find a hot dog vendor for the show yet?
We have not. I have not found anybody. I am so upset. I don't know what I'm going to
You're
do.
going to make me call in my friends. I'm going to have to call in some favors.
Well, I'm actually going to reach out to a couple people that I know. I don't want to really blurt their names out because I haven't talked to them yet. And
Don't,
they're
because they
local.
might book before we get to them.
Right. So I want to do that. But that's my mission for this weekend. Well, I have a lot of missions this weekend.
If this doesn't work, I'm going to start going to restaurants and just finding one to cater it.
That would be a lot of money.
That's okay.
So
It's still limited by humans. Yeah, there are limitations to it still. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Tim Olson. Hey, Tim.
Hey, how's it going?
hello, Timothy.
You sound mellow, low energy. Are you okay?
I'm great. How about you?
I am wonderful. I'm
Awesome.
tired, but I'm feeling giddy, so I'm doing well.
You're tired and giddy at the same time.
Mhm.
Well, like it's exhaustion. For instance, at 3:00 in the morning today, my dogs decided to
Oh my
realize
God.
that I was up and trying to use the restroom, and every time I tried to go to the restroom, they would start barking. It was great. Hello, Rick. How are you?
I guess you didn't get much rest in the restroom.
There was no rest in the restroom. There was nothing but I need 5 minutes, and these dogs won't give me 30 seconds. They're at the door. They're barking. They're
I
moving
had to
around
get
the
up
house.
at 3 to just walk down the hall and point a finger at them and tell them, get to bed. And I brought them both to bed with me. And I was like, they're ridiculous.
So now Diana's sleeping with the dogs.
I am.
You literally had to at the end of the night there because
Because Chris,
they
he
were just
wakes
like,
up
"Oh,
at 3.
Dad's up. It's gonna be fun."
Yeah, because you get up at 3. Well, if you get up at all, then you stay up for an hour so you can get back to bed. But I'm like, you know what? I am just taking these little girls and they did. They slept till 7.
Yeah.
So that was good.
So which one out of the two? Which one of you is the weak link?
Chris.
There's always the one that's the disciplinarian, and there's the one that's the weak link.
Chris is their toy. They think that
I am
Christopher
not a
is
toy.
they think you
No,
are their toy.
I am not their toy.
Okay, so when Chewy gets on the kitchen table and you're sitting there and I'm in the other room and you're like, Chewy, Chewy Lynn, you need to get off the table. Mommy's coming. There. Yes, you are the weak link. Because you didn't have to threaten them with me. You should have stood up, snapped your fingers, and said, off, just like I do. And she gets off.
That's not the way democracy works.
I don't think it's a dog
Listen, Chris is he is so big hearted when it comes to animals. He's like, but I'm like, Christopher, they're dogs. Dogs, like we want to go away for our anniversary. I said, well, we can board her. She goes to daycare at this wonderful facility and they all know her. And I said, let's just board her for a couple of nights. Chris is like, no way. How dare you say that to my I'm like, they're going to put her in a cage. It's not a cage. It's called a crate. It's like they have their own run. They get walked. They get played with, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I digress. So
yeah, and at 2 a.m.
Wasn't Tim though? Wasn't Chris the one that was strict when they're going out? What happened, Chris?
No.
Hey,
you done changed, man. You done changed.
Yeah, I'm a changed man. I've had a new view on life now that I've got a new puppy who needs me.
You've gone
soft. Actually, no, I've always been this way. It's just that you guys haven't really noticed. Like, whenever Diana plans anything that's further than like the grocery store, I'm like, we got to make plans. We got to be careful. The world is going to get us.
Oh,
and I know the good Lord says, fear not. And I don't really fear, but I do
Yes, he does. He is.
anticipate great. No, it's not fear. It's I really believe when I leave the house that like we might not come back to a house or we might not come back.
It's
Like
true.
she was surprised the other night when I told her that I didn't like going out with her when we had kids in the house because that meant that there was an opportunity to kill us both at one time and leave the kids without a parent.
I laughed at
Like
him. I said, "Oh my god."
it
Oh
was
my
a
god.
thought. It was a thought.
What is wrong with you, man?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. He has so many crazy thoughts. This is why he's so good at writing, though, guys. Oh my god.
Well, as long as you
Gary,
don't
I
let
don't
it
see
destroy
you
you,
as a wise guy, huh?
as long as you don't let the crazy thoughts destroy you, it's fine. And
No,
they've
I just
never
do
told
my
me to be
thing.
violent or anything. My crazy thoughts are always like, how do I make sure that I'm covering every angle? And you
And
really
I'm like,
can't.
Stop
We all know
listening
that.
to the
I don't even think
voices.
about that. I just say, listen, I'm doing this. Like this weekend, I went to see my daughter with my other daughter and had a wonderful time, but got very sick and ended up being sick Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I couldn't go on Mike's show, which I was kind of bummed about because I wanted to talk about the Friday night show that I was on with him because it went well and I enjoyed myself. But I was like really sick. So, but the thing is, Chris doesn't really like to leave his environment, his
Well, there's some
security.
logic in that nobody
His
takes into
safe
account, you
zone?
know?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not even that. Think about how much
His
money
safe
we dump
space?
into how much
Well,
money
honey,
do we dump into our studios and our homes and our living
no,
rooms?
that's not
Like
an argument that I want to even because for
it's
me, experiences generate creativity. So when I
I
go and
agree
see,
totally. And I
no,
also want to
you
endorse
watch YouTube documentaries.
experiences, thousands of experiences right
Oh,
here
you
on
guys.
this bad
Okay,
boy.
I think we should switch gears because
No,
Bruce is like,
no, I don't think that's experience,
listen,
Chris.
Bruce has been talking about the AI and making a lot of good points. He
Yep.
did say that it would
Yeah.
help to bring comics quicker to life, which I thought. Terry decided to just say, "Good thing I'm not sleeping with the fishies." He's a wise guy.
Yeah.
And yes, Bruce, we all need to we should all be a light to the world, and we need more crazy men on the street.
Yeah.
Chris and I used to be on the street. He used to do really crazy things like drag me into a field where known heroin users were to pick up the needles back in the day when my husband was a little more adventurous. He's gotten old and he's like, yep, we're not doing that.
Well, no, the truth is we were doing stuff down at a public park and everything was going great. And I'd say it peaked at about a year and a half and then it dwindled and people just stopped coming. And in a sense, I want to say God sanitized the park that we were at because like people just started avoiding it because they knew if they came, I wouldn't be pushy. I'd just sit there with a Bible. And like it was almost like a magnet. Like they'd be like on the other side of the park, and you're just sitting there, you're just reading John or whatever, and you're looking up once in a while, not reading aloud, just it's obviously a Bible because of the fancy gold trim and the big, ribbon that you stuck out the end of it for the bookmark. But they end up coming over. Hey, you reading a Bible? And next thing you know, they're opening up and you're talking to them. And
Well, we're just being real with
sometimes
it.
yeah, well, sometimes, you
I
just
do about the. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No.
I do disagree with one thing about the AI art is that it takes away the hard work and talent. It goes into drawing things from your own mind.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of like the difference between, oh, this is going to be a bad analogy, but the song Under Pressure with Queen and David Bowie, and then
You mean how
got
Vanilla Ice
turned.
sampled it? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
they added a
But
little cymbal
Ice's
sound.
sample, as lack of talent and lack of skill as that is, it like created something different out of something that was like, in my mind, it's become more or less like, okay, you can have steak or you can cut that steak up into different pieces and have a little Slim Jim and maybe throw it in some bologna and maybe some hot dog filler. Like they're just taking something that Queen created, the Brian May, I think his name is, right? The guitarist. And they're just regurgitating it, but they were able to like, look at how much money that thing brought in. Now, I'm not like a hater of money. I am a capitalist. And Queen must have gotten I gotta think they got royalties. Maybe they didn't though. I don't remember. But sampling, that was what always bothered me because they'd take huge chunks of songs and theoretically not be paying
But
anything. Yeah.
what I'd
Go
say
ahead, Rick.
probably for the ARR is, like I'm probably never going to use it myself. But you get a creator like you or me, Tim, who really don't got a lot of money, right? So, maybe they can't afford, the $100 artist or even the $20 artist, per page.
Yeah.
Just to start their stuff,
You
Yep.
shop around and find
For
a
me, we'll
cheaper
never use it,
artist.
but
Well, I mean, like
maybe,
I just because I'm
maybe
because
even
I'm
like I said, the $20 artist is hard for them to pay. Sorry, Chris.
no, that's fine. I'm just thinking, the AI is going to be there. Some people are going to be okay with it. Some people won't. It's kind of like when John Byrne did Star Trek comic books using the video cells from the first series. Have you ever seen that? He literally photoshopped all these pictures from the Star Trek series and wrote new stories using them as his figures. And by the way, I hated that, but it was still an expression of an art form, and like, so yeah, AI is going to happen. I'm going to begrudgingly not like it and just deal with it, but I can see where it could
Yeah.
come in handy. I've done things on the computer I could never do without it. I play a badass bass
if you
on the
can
computer.
tell if you can tell it's AI art and you don't want to support it, you just don't buy it. You let the people buy it that want to, and
Yep.
that's how how it will succeed or not succeed, whether people buy stuff knowing, or
Well,
not knowing.
the biggest problem I've had with it is that it's so refined. You can usually tell, like, it's almost like fantasy paintings, and when it's put in a sequential art fashion, it's like either someone spent 10 years painting this thing or it's AI, like it almost feels like too much. And I suppose
Yeah.
that's just a matter of them learning to dial it back. But it's a little
And
crazy
it's new
sometimes when I see
too.
them pass off.
And it's new. It's something new, so people have to get used to it. And I
Some
can
say it's not going to catch on like cryptocurrency or anything.
well, no, I mean, I can see what Bruce is saying, and I don't know how old he is, if he's a youngster, and this is kind of,
Well,
the new
no,
upcoming
in his
technology. I
defense,
don't know, but
I want to say before Photoshop, because I was in the beginning of my graphic art career as
right.
Photoshop started coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Photo manipulation was very hard. It involved a lot of, darkroom tricks, and it was limited
Right.
in the scope of what you could actually do.
Yep.
Photoshop revolutionized that. And
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, if you were to tell me, oh, you can't use Photoshop, I'd be like, because it was a tool.
Right.
It's
And I
just,
think that's what he's saying. It's a tool. It's
well,
it's
it
not
is.
to
It's
like
just,
just
And we decide whether
it's
we
more
want to use
automated.
that tool or not.
exactly, Rick. And I mean, some people might, it can be another whole art form to be good at it. I don't really know much about it. Is this where they take, like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know anything about it except
It's like
that.
you type in words, right? So you might type in pretty woman, patriotic,
On a Paris
American
street.
flag.
Oh, and then they create a picture, right? Out of
Right.
the
And you
word?
go, hey, look, this is
computer.
my copy of Wonder Woman,
Okay. Gotcha. Now I
Don't you
understand.
remember when RJ was doing those weird mashups about a year
Yes,
ago?
I do.
That was
Now I know what
primitive
you're talking
versions of the AI that they're seeing now.
Okay. All right. But I don't know much about it, so I don't really
You
have an
would love it,
opinion.
actually, I think,
Well,
because
word
you
has
love
it,
coloring and
word has it that people who have made those programs are
Yep.
getting sued. So, yeah.
Well, at any rate,
Yeah, well, if they're doing these images, like Wonder Woman, Batman, but what if they're, doing their own stuff, whatever it is?
well, the
mhm,
problem's going to be when somebody says, well, I can tell they took this from my painting and I can tell they took this from that drawing. But then that falls right back into the same category of sampling and rap. to
Right.
me at least. And even the electronic drum is kind of funny because it's all based on someone's snare, someone's bass, someone's cymbals, unless it's
Mhm.
true,
Yeah.
Right.
Casio,
Yeah.
that
But
kind of stuff.
uh, but even I think it's with say pictures or whatever or something like that. I think the copyright laws are like you've got to change. I think like 10%, or at least in the states. I don't know what they are here for sure in Canada, and I could be wrong. Because look at all the parody bands. Well, not all. Not that there's a lot, but parody bands. They just have to change like 10% or something like
I don't
that.
think it's gonna be a huge renaissance. Nah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's not
I
anything
think we're waiting
anyone
on the
can
right
predict.
program with the right creators. So, in other words,
I think
someone's
it's
going to advance
interesting.
the AI up further. Yeah, but the
Mhm.
technology is going to improve, and then
Yep.
some like ninth grade wizard is going to sit down and go, "Silk flowers, watermelon, African moon in the night," and boom, you're going to get this like amazing creation, and everybody's going to be like,
Right.
"Everything
Here
he
we
says
go.
makes wonderful art." Like it'll be something like that, and he'll make like 10 million bucks and then fade into obscurity.
You know how many
Yeah.
times people have come
Yeah.
out with the latest thing? Like remember was it they were taking art and making like what are those called? Damn it.
Drawings?
No. God dang it. They were just changing
Oh
the
heck, I
color on
remember when.
they were just changing the color on certain art and they were calling it something
Oh,
and, and it,
Oh,
NFTs.
you're talking
and it,
about.
yeah, remember when that was a thing like a year or so ago and now it's not really a
Yep.
big deal? There you go. I mean people always say, "Oh, it's going to change everything." No, it's not. It may change something.
Well,
Who knows?
yeah, we don't know yet. It's you know, you look at you say Renaissance, Rembrandt and all those
Oh no, heck no.
Michelangelo and all that.
Copyrights are,
What?
that guy is either trolling us or something. Copyrights are made
No,
to
it's
protect our
it's
characters.
yeah,
Forget
Well,
this
it's
guy.
it's his opinion. He's all right.
Truly, that's
well,
why
the
would
thing
that
about
it's
copyright, yeah, but the thing
I
about
mean,
copyright is if you can't
it's
get around
stupid.
it, then you're not very like okay, so
He's all for stealing things from other artists. That's what he's basically
No,
saying.
that's
well,
not what he
yeah,
No,
said.
no, Tim, that's not what he's saying. He just said he feels that copyright is unnatural and needs to go. Now, the little bit I do know about copyright, number one, you need to be making some money. You need to be like, pretty well known. People aren't just going to come along and take things that nobody knows about. So I don't think we
no, they
have
do. They do
a
that.
lot to
They do that
worry
all the
about.
time, Tim.
Some do, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so if you do, then fine. It's a law to protect, you know, creators, whether they're artists or writers and whatever. So it's a law, whether it's unnatural or not. I think it's just a law. I mean, I don't think it's any
But the
big
hard part is when
deal.
you think about like everything that's so go back to Solomon. Oh boy, this is a real Bible thumping night, but there's nothing new under the sun.
That's
So
right.
like when I talk about copyright with my stuff, I've never come up with a character that on paper is very creative. The creativity has to happen in the character and the characterization of how he or she is taking the world, how they're understanding the story as it's impacting them. But like all the powers I've ever come up with, Cyclopean is an original looking guy, but his powers are just like he's strong and has thick skin. He's more like Luke Cage. He doesn't even have like Superman flight or laser beams. Rick's character, I think, has a mild resemblance to I believe his name was the Vindicator in Alpha Flight, the Guardian.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Vindicator, Guardian. I think he went by both names at one point.
but it's
No,
just
I was gonna say James Howlett, but that's Wolverine.
Well,
and
why would
Melvin is
he?
obviously a stereotype of Chuck Norris.
Well, why would he say
Get it?
that? Why would he say copyright is unnatural and needs to go?
Because it's his
Well,
Well,
opinion.
because
My God, it's
no,
just his
because
yeah,
opinion.
okay.
no,
Okay,
that would
okay,
be because
okay.
I think that would be because it's a legal system, a mankind legal system. It's not natural. I think that's how I would take
Well,
that. I
how
don't
about
know though.
we? I'd say,
He's saying something.
okay, yeah, he
Yeah.
said a few things. Okay, what there and think, why do you say it's unnatural, Bruce? You know, you know,
He's
It's
entitled
I
to
don't.
his wrong
why do
opinion.
you?
Yeah, it's just he said it's just
Yeah,
an opinion. He's
Well,
just
actually,
telling you guys. It's like
no, but
don't.
he's right about that too. Tracing can be considered copyright infringement, and some have gotten sued. Amy Grant, I think it was, sued Marvel back in the mid '80s or early '90s for a
Really?
Daredevil cover where, yeah, they actually took her picture and somehow like superimposed it into the art,
Really?
and they got sued. Yeah, yeah,
I
but
did
it
oh
hear
doesn't
that.
wow,
happen always. There's a lot of tracing that never gets sued.
Right. I think it's just
I
funny
actually
that.
like that it's a different opinion. We haven't had any
Well, I apologize,
ideas
but
that would
I
challenge
still think
copyright. Because go
he's
ahead,
wrong.
he
yeah.
might be. I
You
mean, we
can
are
think he's wrong.
well in a sense. We're also looking at it from a creative point of view, and we're like,
Right.
well, now wait a minute. I don't want Cyclopean necessarily just shoveled off and doing other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
understand that side of it where creators want to protect their creations.
Yeah,
But
copyright
on the
is a
other
way
hand, I
to
can see the
protect
logic
your.
of saying, go ahead.
I was just saying, copyright is a way to, protect your intellectual property. Uh,
Usually, the band that you're doing a cover of, if you're doing like a record, they usually get paid. So
Well, if it is on a yeah, if it's in an album, there's going to be royalty cuts and stuff.
What
Live,
about
I'm
yeah,
one.
well, I think by cover he means like your band in, a
yeah?
bar or whatever,
What?
and you're
Yeah,
getting paid
exactly.
to do that,
Right.
paid to play.
But there is a license, a copyright license that musicians can buy that covers them for when they do covers of like bigger bands and stuff. I know that because
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
and to
I
kind
was
of
well,
on,
illustrate
most of
how
your garage
ridiculous it can
bands,
be, though.
was that
but your garage band type ones are probably not that play in bars are probably not paying that.
usually,
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
the
true.
bar pays for. Maybe the bar might pay for something like that
well,
for
you,
bands to come in.
that's on an individual basis. I know that when we were in our church and we were part of the worship team, the church had to buy literally had to buy like rights to the music and stuff like that. So I know it's stuff there's stuff like that
Yeah.
that's out
see
there.
this
There are-
this really bothers because he's saying well that people shouldn't own their stuff.
no.
That's some commie crap right there.
What?
Well, he's saying, okay, let's say your Slater song do a cover on a stage and it gets lots of money. Well, on a stage, it's not going to get lots of money. You're just getting paid by the bar to be there and do something. It's if you put it on an album and do it, then maybe you might get a lot of money.
You know what might be interesting to look at, and maybe I'll do this after the show sometime, not tonight, but it would be interesting to find out. Like, so if I'm a cover band, like all I do is cover, say, Kiss, a tribute band, do I end up having to pay them
Yeah.
royalties, or can I get away with that? Because really, copyright does some crazy things. It might be totally okay to do it, but then again, it might be like they have to license. Like, well, I know Kiss will sue you if you use their makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I
Right.
think it might be something. It might end up being something along the lines of what DC or Marvel does with fan
Right.
art, where yeah, lots of people make fan art and they go and sell it at conventions.
Right.
Technically, you're
Exactly.
breaking copy.
Yeah.
Technically, you're breaking copyright, but because you're not making a huge ton of money at it, they let you get away with it and they don't do nothing.
Right. So
It's
when
funny you
he and
mentioned that because I have thrown fits about that, haven't I, Diana?
yes, so I just want to point out that Bruce is just saying it is a good philosophical argument. Why do we
Yeah,
copyright? Like, I can understand what he's saying. Like, you know,
yeah,
he Slayer just copied other musicians. I don't know if they did or didn't, but
Well,
nothing new.
it's a musical style, but
You know,
the songs they wrote are theirs. And usually, when a band plays covers in a bar, it's usually well-known songs that everybody knows. That's not
Mhm.
their songs. I
Right,
mean, that's ridiculous.
right, right. So what are you trying to say? I guess I'm lost. So yeah, he's just I think he's just, it is a good
With
conversation.
AI, copyright will die because I can create my own fast now.
Right.
All you need is no talent and a button to press.
Well, I don't
Well,
know.
maybe, but
That
what's going to
works.
happen is this could be really good for art in the sense that we'll be in a period again where great artists will rise and there'll be all the mediocre ones who kind of sit at home and don't do much, which is a lot of what we have right now is like that. Like I'm very tender on how I talk about artwork, but I have a lot of books that come in and I'm like, ooh, like only one have I ever been so mad about that I had to scream about. And you guys know the one I'm talking about, I bet. But sometimes like you're just looking and you kind of have to go, well, it's because we're part of we're buying amateur and independent comics. And I think there's a distinction between the two. Like I guess you could say what's his face, like Ripa is technically like in that pro level because of the talent he hires. And then there's that, I don't know who's in that level, but somewhere above me, there's like the independent. And then like, I feel like there's this amateur crowd. And like, I feel like I'm in the amateur crowd and I'm striving to get into the indies, but like those levels, I buy a lot of different books. And sometimes like the art is just kind of like, almost like it might be interesting to see how they'd handle it with AI if I didn't hate AI.
And I disagree with him. Copyrights won't die because you technically stuff is copywritten upon creation.
Well, it
So
depends on the country you're in. I know for
Yeah.
here in Canada it is.
Yeah.
But
Well, it
I don't
is
think it will
conceivable
die.
that society could change enough, though. Like in 100 years, it could become very passe to have copyright.
You know, there's lots of things people can do that aren't copyrighted easy enough. You know, or create their own stuff that's not copyrighted. And yeah, some people want to do stuff that's copyrighted. And they want to try and make money off of somebody else's hard work. Or sort of hard work. Like I said, doing fan art. You sort of, although you do have to put in work in there and doing the drawing, but you're trying to get money based off of the fact that Superman's popular, or Batman or Wonder Woman or Spider-Man or whomever.
And
One
I'm
thing.
I disagree with that also because like big companies have a lot of money in the properties they own. You think they're gonna let copyrights die because of something stupid like AI art? Are you kidding me? I don't think so.
Well, I think what will have to happen at some point is it's not going to change without a big social change. Like we'd have to see capitalism basically get crushed, and then we'd have to see some form of socialism where the government would say something like,
Yeah.
no, Disney no longer owns Mickey Mouse. You all are more than welcome to use him any way you want. Now,
So go ahead.
go ahead, Diana.
I just want to point out. So Bruce just said the reason he has this stance on copyright, from what I understand, is that everything he has seen, everything he has done is inspired from something or someone else. He's not copying them, but he's inspired by them. So like when we talk about everything under the sun is not new, I mean, I can understand where he's coming from. So that I think
Yeah.
is why he's saying, well, why are we copywriting? Because this idea, I
It's
watched
not even a.
whatever, I don't know.
So
He's not-
It's a point of view. We may not agree with it, but it's a
Right.
point of view.
Exactly.
taking this to the ultimate heights, then.
Mhm.
So
Wait a minute.
basically, are you saying, is he suggesting like, I don't know, like right now I'm doing ManGai and I just finished Trolls and Cyclopean last year, right? But what if my last 3 comics were I did a Superman one shot and then I did a Spider-Man Batman mashup, and I'm working right now on the Mickey Mouse Bruce Lee anthology. He's suggesting that would be okay, and I guess that the work would have to sell based on its quality versus necessarily original characters or something. Like I'm trying to understand how this would work out into a
Technically, he's not
like
even a
how
comic
would this
book
turn
artist.
into money and for who?
Right.
He's technically not a comic artist. He's a architect, which is which is
Right.
like the
Yeah,
less
but he says
creative art form.
he took the copyright off his drawings a couple years ago, so he might have done his own drawings of stuff,
Well, it
you know,
doesn't matter.
but he
So
makes
he
money
still
as an
believes in
architect.
he still believes in a form of licensing, which would mean, so if I made all my books on, you know,
That's just
Superman,
funny.
Batman, and all those characters, I would still owe DC, Marvel, and Disney something. But I would have the freedom to
Yeah.
do it despite their ownership of it, I think is what he's saying.
Right. So he has to make money on it.
Yeah,
I
he
still
said
think
only
it's an
corporations.
interesting. It's interesting to think about it. Like nobody has really come out that I know of has come out and said anything quite like that. I haven't
Well, the
really.
thing that would be funny is what would happen if, okay, let's say Spider-Man is a dying character, right? 100 years from now, and copyright's dead, and I come out and I make like my own hack version of Spider-Man. Disney could then turn around and like make a hack version of the original, and like claim back the character.
Right.
Because
Well,
it came up
no,
with
well,
more
once the
exciting stuff.
copyright's dead, because once the copyright's up, say for comic stuff, anyways, it goes into public domain.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of, because public domain characters like Winnie the Pooh, there's like 4 or 5 projects right now, all in the works are coming out that are Winnie the Pooh, because
but
Winnie
they're
the Pooh is
usually
open
older
domain
versions.
now. What's that,
Yeah,
Tim?
but then they're making their own new version of Winnie the Pooh too. One's having him be a demon hunter, and I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
they
what
have to be
others are
careful
doing.
not to use Disney's influence in their Winnie the Pooh. It can only come from the writing that's been made public domain, right?
Yeah, or the
Like,
name or whatever.
well, like with Disney, I know a lot of the stuff that they have that's public domain, it's fine to
Mhm.
use, but you have to follow the original writing that's public domain. You can't, like, for instance, look at Snow
Yeah.
White and the Seven Dwarfs and add, like, I don't know, the Thumper or the Bunny or whatever. I don't know, one of the fictional add-ons.
Well,
You
see,
have to keep it
that
the
thing
original.
that thing he's describing sounds like a parody, of course, which is
Yeah.
technically kind of okay.
Right.
A couple things he says. Only corporations need copyright. The little guys not really needed. Well, I'd say the little guys need it, so it's not the corporations can't steal it from you. But unfortunately, the little guy doesn't have the money to enforce like the
So
corporations.
in our business, in Hero Shack Press, which is an LLC, our lawyers have told us we have, if we can prove that we have created it by putting it in a book or whatever, and then we find out down the road somebody has taken, let's say, Cyclopean, right, and use it,
Yeah.
then we're covered because we can prove that we created the character before them. That's
Well,
how
that's the
the
thing. The
little
law
guys.
isn't
That's but that's how copyright works for the little
right.
guys.
The
Like
law
that's
isn't so black and white that as long as you
Hopefully
can
they
prove usage.
steal it from you. I don't want anybody's.
Yeah, that caused me to track him down and beat the crud out of him.
well, to me, if somebody, I think that would be a great compliment. So if somebody looked at Cyclopean and said, "Oh my God, this is like the coolest character ever. I'm going to take it." To me, I think it is a compliment. And if they start making money, and all of a sudden we see Cyclopean all over the net,
Yeah.
we're going to be going to our lawyers, which we have, and say, "Excuse us, but this guy is using, and you can see it's the exact same thing, and blah blah blah. Please do something." So
Yeah.
we're
Well, let me
covered.
say this
okay?
though: you need to be aware that the last Star Trek show, Star Trek, was it Discovery or whatever it was, the one that's been on Paramount, not Picard, but the one before it, actually stole like a
Discovery?
whole. Is that the one? The one where the girl from Walking Dead was the captain? But they stole this whole
Yeah. Well, not quite a
Terrasat
captain, but
monster or whatever it was called from a video game.
yeah,
Right
or
down to a
it's
lot of
been
the,
said they did or whatever.
yeah, and yet the guy had no recourse in court. It was thrown out. I don't know the reasons per se, the legal reasons, but copyright does not always mean that you're going to get, what you think, because of the legal jargon, and you're facing a platoon of lawyers. We could go in with our 2 little partnered buddy lawyers, and they have like 20 all-star lawyers. It's like, oh, we came to the ballpark with 2 short guys, and they have like a team of 6-footers. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah.
think
Well,
of just think
technically,
of
you
all the
can win.
Rick, just think of all the publicity we would get if something like
Yeah,
that.
I can see that end of it, but at the same time, um, you've also
Better
put
to
out a
try
lot of
than not do
money.
anything, right, Rick?
Yeah, well,
Right.
You got to try to protect
yeah,
your stuff.
Isn't
Well,
isn't
yeah.
Grim,
I
isn't
mean,
Grim Fairy
yeah.
Tales like public domain though?
what?
The Canadian Shield is looking a lot like Captain America.
Doesn't look
Yeah,
a thing like Captain
Um,
he
America.
does a little
not
bit, but
really.
well,
Yeah,
the
he does.
colors.
He's got 2 arms and 2
Captain
legs. I
America.
clearly see the similarities.
This guy's
He even
got a
has a
full
head, Rick.
face mask.
Rick, he's
He's got
got a
full
human
face.
head. He's got a head.
Yes, I
Don't
see
deny
that.
it.
Technically,
He's got a full
actually,
face mask, a cape. Oh geez, he can fly. This guy, although the suit he's 8 foot tall, built like a brick house. Um,
Kareem
you think
Abdul-Jabbar.
just Canadian Shield and patriotic superhero that he's going to be similar to Captain America, but that's a faulty assumption.
I actually had to confront somebody who stole a drawing from Melvin too. They took their character
You know,
and they kind of
yeah, I think when I first came up with the name Canadian Shield, yeah, I did think
okay.
about making patriotic Canadian type superhero, but what I ended up creating is not even close.
So, guys, Tim was talking about how somebody tried to steal Melvin. I was kind of wanting to hear it.
Yeah, I actually contacted the guy and we talked about it. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'll do it." He deleted it, but he said it was just such a cool, drawing. So I've already had somebody try to rip me off before.
And
I haven't been that blessed yet.
I guess I don't get my panties in a bunch over that kind of stuff. I just.
Well, not yet. That's because you're not full time. Wait till you get out of school, girl. You're going to get all serious on us.
No, even then, I would handle it probably differently. But that's just me.
I
No,
know.
it's not. You know how I am.
Yeah, you try and do things outside of court first, Why involve lawyers and pay money when you don't have to?
But
Right.
anyway,
Yeah, there you go. Terry just hit one of the points. With public domain, you can use the character, but sometimes you can't use the trademark.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's just like with Captain Marvel, and I mean DC's Captain Marvel. They can call him Captain Marvel inside a comic book, because DC last time I knew owned the copyright, but they can't make a book called Captain Marvel because Marvel owns the trademark.
Yeah, sorry, Bruce. I guess it's a touchy subject with me and it should be with most creators because it just like saying that trademarks our copyrights should go away. It's like, wait, so we shouldn't have any protection for our IPs, and it's almost like a slap in the face, really.
Tim, you just made me think of something silly.
What?
Tim's saying we need IP condoms.
Dude,
our IPs need protection. We need IP condoms.
Oh my God.
But just with a couple other things that he said in the chat, he was just saying if they steal it, then you've got a claim just there, that they've stolen it. But copyright sort of is trying to enforce it. That's the law about the stealing of intellectual property, because I'm not sure what they did beforehand, before copyright, if somebody stole your stuff or whatever,
Yeah, you had to go fight them and
like
stuff if they stole it. That was the only way you were going to get justice at some point. Although I bet you England was advanced enough to have some sort of, registry at some point, before like the 20th century.
But then
there's
the thing too with copyright, especially more registered copyright, is it's in some database that people can search to see whether, Joe Blow actually has made, a character by this name. And now sometimes
Look
I
how
was just gonna
crazy
say,
copyright law has been with like Comicsgate, though. It bounced
yeah,
from Malpesia to almost to Preston, then over to Dark Gift, and then to Preston and
yeah,
EBS fighting, and EBS finally has it
yeah. But
now.
wasn't that?
But
I think that was more the copyright,
well,
but
there's a
it could be
lot
wrong.
more involved in it, but it was all
It's okay, Eric.
it was actually just a struggle to see who got the not the copyright, it was the trademark, wasn't it? It was the TM part that they were fighting over.
I don't know anything about it.
But I was
Yeah,
gonna
well,
say
ultimately EBS won
there's lots
that.
of
Yep.
Well, Eric, it was actually
yeah.
brought to my attention by Sid. He said, "Hey Tim, take a look at this," and I'm like, "Oh, son of a biscuit." So I just sent the guy a message, and he took it down.
Well, that's good.
Happened months ago though.
Hmm. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, the
So,
thing
anyways,
is,
guys,
But
what else are we going to talk
it's
about?
well, the answer to AI is only going to be HI. And if HI is up to it, there'll always be, people who can do it. HI being human intelligence. We'll have to
well, like I
outcreate the
said,
creative software.
It just sounds lazy, in
the
my opinion. That's all.
yeah.
It's
Well, I don't,
lazy.
it can be lazy. I agree, but I think it just sometimes it depends on how much money you have. Like I said, it's not the way that I would go myself. At least not at this point, or I don't think I would have ever thought of it. Maybe 20 years ago, if it was around, I might have.
It's a keyboard,
But
guys. It's a Casio keyboard.
yeah, but I think
Actually,
we're
it's more advanced than the old Casios, though.
yeah. It's the market. It's the market will decide whether it succeeds or fails.
Well,
Yeah.
so far there is no market for it because people aren't using it. So, and the people are
Well, there are
they
people.
call it
There
hacks.
are some people using. There are some people using it.
Well, the
We
thing
don't
is, there
know
has to be a
necessarily.
breakthrough.
Yeah.
There has to be a breakthrough, and like if they get to the point where I can go, draw me this script in the style of Frank Miller, and I get a comic book in the style of Frank Miller, or they hand me a Fantastic Four script that was written by AI, and it goes into the AI generator, and they type in John Byrne art, and you get a brand new John Byrne, drawn story. That's going to be a problem, but that's where creative artists that are alive at the time have to overcome that and blow that out of the water with something new and fresh.
There's a
Wow.
CG book using the Black Terror. He can't call his book Black Terror because of
Oh,
Dynamite's
I
entertainment.
know the one. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. I can't
Terror in the
remember the name.
trenches.
Was it Monster MD or something like that?
I thought it was like Terror in the trenches. Sounds like Terror in the trenches.
It might be. I could be totally off. Yeah, I could be off on that. I'm not sure which one it actually is, but I do remember reading something about that or seeing a video. So, what's going on with you guys? Canadian Shield 1 is being remastered. How's that going?
Pretty
I
good.
think we lost. Oh, there he
I
is.
just think on page nine. I'm here. I think
Yeah, you're here. I hear you, bro.
I'm here.
It's me. There's something
Okay.
weird on my system.
Well, I know. You may or may not be having the same snowstorm I'm having.
Yeah, I think we are. It snowed looks to be about a half inch right now,
Is it
but
still
it's
snowing?
gonna swell up.
We're getting ice
Yeah,
storm
it's been
tomorrow.
snowing.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be coming from here because it's been snowing all day.
It would actually be kind of better if it came from there. I'm worried about the Ohio cloud and what's going on with that and where that's floating over
Yeah.
next.
But
Unbelievable stuff in
Yeah,
this world right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Jesus, talk to us after the show. Or talk to
Yeah.
us right now. Just pop it in.
But-
We'll talk.
Well, me and Rick are working on something. We're working on a
Yeah.
crossover.
Oh, good.
Yay.
And Artwise Melvin 3 should be wrapping up Artwise. So we can
Yeah,
continue working on the script.
You've been
Yeah,
posting that, right,
next-
Tim?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
should be
quite a few of them.
finished. I should be finished the 4th panel sometime of the extra panels sometime next week. I'm going to be going away tomorrow for the weekend, so
Rick, you going on vacay?
pardon?
You going on vacation?
I wouldn't call it a vacation, but
That's all right.
there's just a Christian retreat I'm going on.
Well, that's cool.
Nice.
What the
What's
heck is
this? Is this an AI art
No.
or just something you drew? A
Yeah, this is
transformer of
Victor.
sorts?
So remember Victor Violent, right?
Yeah.
He's been driving around this spy car. It's a Gemini, or rather a Gremlin AMC. And in times of trouble, it has some 1970s style transformation abilities. But keep in mind, he's not a transformer type. He doesn't have the full, like you would think, Transformers, but no, he's more like GoBots. If you're a child of the 80s and 90s, you probably know the difference. GoBots were horrible. And I just thought I'd share them since I had a color copy of them on this drive.
Have you ever seen the Robot Chicken where the GoBots try to help Optimus Prime and he says no?
No, but I would have doubt he would say no.
And then so the GoBots go confront Megatron and Megatron pretends to lose. It's like Starscream's like, "What the F, bro?" And he goes, "Well, they were cute. They look like they need the W."
Yeah, the GoBots
I see.
from toys to cartoons were the worst when compared to the Transformers. There's a girl involved. I'm reading the comments and I should be reading them out loud, but I'm tired, guys.
All right.
My eyes are starting to peel. Hang on, I'll show you. My eyes feel like they're starting to close. Nah.
So yeah,
There we
so I mean, I just wanted to tie up what Bruce just said in regards to what he was suggesting or just sharing. He did say that we're all great artists, or you guys are all great artists, and it would boost your productivity. So again, think he's an engineer, he's an architect, so he's thinking, how to get your work done quicker so you can produce more. I don't feel like he did anything or was trying to do anything to disrupt anybody or
No. It's
chat or anything like that. I think he was just coming in, having a conversation. So
it's
I welcome him back. Bruce, I welcome you back anytime.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. It's been a good topic.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting topic. It's brought out a lot of passion from our other
Well, it's made
chat.
me
Panel.
think about copyrights a little bit, like, because it's always been like, I hate how like they extend the copyrights forever on Mickey Mouse. We should be able to draw him by now.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it's a touchy subject with a lot of people, especially those who create. It's almost like saying, "Hey, well, you know what? Really cool if we replaced you guys and made you completely unnecessary by using computers."
No, I think the way I read it, it's like, oh, how could you speed up production? So if this
Right.
can learn how you draw, like your exact way that you draw, then it would speed up your production. You wouldn't have to sit at the computer or the table or whatever. You could sort of program and get it done quicker. That's how I was looking at it. But again, I'm
Yeah.
not an artist. I don't understand the whole process. Chris, you can raise your hand. I'll be right back.
Okay, I want to say one thing because I've experienced this. I
Yeah,
do
it
all
is.
my lettering. Listen, I do all my lettering digitally, and that while it keeps all my letters nice, pretty neat, and straight, has changed lettering because there was a time when I would have had to do that exclusively by hand, and my style would either have to become very
Yeah.
house-like, or I'd have to be very flamboyant and artistic with my letters. Otherwise, they'd be drab and not readable.
Yeah.
That's gone. That's almost gone with digital.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You
I
just pick a
have.
font and go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a letter that does my. I do the writing. I don't do drawing, or I'm not a very good
So does
artist.
your letterer do it digitally or by hand?
I think he might do it digitally.
Most do, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. But that's one of those things where we can see the benefits all the way up to, yeah, you can letter really quick now, but the cost is you're not getting, the same kind of artistic input that the letterer used to bring to it. And if you had a good letterer, it could change the feel of the whole book.
Yeah. Well, you can still, even the letterer can still, depending, I guess, the program or what they're doing or whatever, because I letter my books this time, and they would be doing the sound effect type things, and I put in that stuff, and I didn't use a font for it. I just used my pad. I wrote
Yep.
the word,
Oh
bam.
yeah, there's still room for
Then-
artistic input, but there was a time when every letter, had to be stroked and like these guys were so good. They would measure out these lines and everything so quickly. I know they had grids and slides and stuff, but real letterers back in the day, they were something else. Like their handwriting, their ability to just control oh wow. I always marveled at good letterers. I was never a great letterer.
How is making a facial expression on a drawing take
Wow.
half a day? I know people who can do that within like an hour.
Well, I watched some. He was a Japanese artist today, and literally, he must have done this so often that he was drawing this guy walking, and as he walked, the angle changed, and he didn't hesitate. He didn't draw, any guides or anything. He just, and it was very well drawn. And I was like, all right, I just need to
Go
jump
with
off
the
of this
flow.
and stop drawing.
I think you're worshiping the wrong god there, Bruce.
I go with the wait. There
yeah,
it is.
but
Yeah, well, I
as you
can.
can see,
He's go with the flow of technology. There's no stopping it. He's absolutely 100% right. There is no stopping it. So you can embrace what
I
you
think there
feel.
is, but
No, there's not. The only person that's going to stop it is God.
true.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. I
that's,
thought he meant
that's
like technology as God or something.
no. Oh my God, Tim. No. Jesus, criminy crickets. Lord have mercy on you
No.
guys.
But
Yeah.
technology, if we're left to our own devices, I mean, we can already kill ourselves like what,
No
thousands of
kidding.
times over.
Mhm.
Technology.
Yeah.
What scares me is that, like, I look at the solar system on these documentaries that I've been watching, and it looks to me like if our sun gets hotter, we'll be able to just like jump to Mars and terraform and live there until it gets even hotter. And then we'll eventually move on to Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus and eventually even Pluto, which
I
has
ain't
ice on
touching
it.
Uranus.
Well, you could skip it, I guess, and just go on to the next one. But sooner or later,
I
we're
ain't
going to
touching
inhabit
anybody's
Uranus.
Uranus.
Sooner or later, we're coming for Uranus. I mean, Jupiter will get full, the moons will get full. We're going to have to expand.
But
Mars is going to be
here,
interesting though, because I think we're gonna make it there. Yes, we're taking it from Bible to interplanetary travel. Now that's only if God doesn't stop us. It's entirely possible that we're done before we even get that close.
Again,
although if you look here, I was going to say, but for lettering, I did all that lettering digitally, but for the that's not a font. I just
Are
wrote
you
that in.
handwriting it?
Yeah, well, sort of, with my stylus on my whatchamacallit,
So
my
you're hand
tablet.
lettering still? Yeah, no, that's actually
Yeah,
that is hand lettering. The only thing you're missing out on is waiting on the ink to dry.
yeah.
yeah,
And then, as you can see above the in the thing for the sound effects, there you see wham, thud, and whoosh, you know, all hand drawn, handwritten, if you were whatever, with my stylus right into
Right,
my
right.
thing. So there's specialty things, but this is Jim to control room. That's a font that I have. So
Yep,
I
yep.
end up combining both.
So you're doing a lot more hand lettering than like I would do. But that's cool too. Like only because my app does everything I want it to, and I'm not that obsessed with letters. But I know real letterists,
Yeah,
and they just, you know what I mean. It's like amazing when someone
yeah,
has a knack for it, which you
yeah.
may very well
Well,
have, Rick. By the way, because you're doing stuff like that. Like I just don't even look at it like that. I'm like, I need a fush. Let me see what font I can distort.
yeah,
uh,
I've tried doing the distort stuff. It just doesn't what I want, and I think that ends up being gives a lot of life to the agony or whatever that he's going through. The way
right.
I do it, and then of course I do my own speech bubble at that, which is crazy looking. Yeah, Mighty
So,
Geek
guys,
does a lettering.
I think we should do like our final promo. So Saturday, right? 3 o'clock my channel. We're
Yeah, and
doing
it's
the
on your
yeah.
channel, and I'm not going to be here because I'm out of town.
All right, all right. And both you guys are out of in demand now, aren't you?
I ended mine.
Yeah, I saw that because I was looking for
Yeah,
what I was gonna put in the pre-show, and both of you are out of in demand. So I'm like,
no,
I don't even
I'm
know who's
still
got a
in demand. I
campaign.
think unless I'm still
Oh,
in
I thought you
demand
said you
unless
were out last week. I didn't know that. I thought you said you
no,
were
not
out.
yet. After I get my books in, and hopefully they're going to be printed sometime this in the next couple of weeks.
I didn't
Actually, there
realize
is
that. Okay.
uh,
What, Tim?
nothing.
Ah, there is.
No,
That's all
no,
I
no.
got.
It's
There
good.
is.
It's good. It's good.
All right. Because I'm falling asleep, and I don't want to fall asleep on you guys. I hate when that happens. um, I did it the last time I did it was on Mike's show, and I felt bad.
Excuse me.
So listen, everybody, keep your eye on ManGai Yoshokan. I'm about to start popping some real new videos promoting it. I'll do the sign up like hard promotion for probably 2 more weeks. We're going to come up with a secret tier for that. In fact, we were talking about the tiers this week. We want it to be our best run campaign yet, so that's going to be a hard focus. Diana, you got anything to add?
Hold on a second.
Diana?
One moment, please.
One.
2.
Okay, sorry guys. I was just coughing a little. I had a little choking fit. So first off, I want to say thanks to Bruce for coming in because I thought it was a cool conversation. Whichever way you guys, think about it, it was good information. And yes, ManGai Yoshokan, that is going to be launched very, very, very soon. I am going to tell my husband we have to launch it because this has been like going on and on and on. It's just crazy. The Saturday stream at 3:00, I will do my best to be here and to be drawing my character that's been sitting on my poor iPad. And I really haven't done anything with it since the very first time I attempted to draw him. So hopefully that I can make it. And I'm looking forward to checking out Chat GPT that Bruce recommended. I wonder if it could help me with my studies. That would be so cool. And then you guys already talked about, Rick and Tim already talked about their stuff. And let's see, Terry, what are you doing? Do you have anything that you're starting on? I know you're always working on something, but does he have anything? Did he say? I know he's in the chat only tonight, but
I don't know. I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think
He's
so.
still working on it.
okay.
Yeah, he's still working on it.
Okay.
But Saturday, we can
Yes.
try to get more out of him on it.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Join us Saturday for the interrogation of fellow artist. All right.
All
So
right,
these
you guys.
eyes are saying Jesus wants me to go see him in sleep. I'm going to have a wonderful dream, I'm sure.
Yep.
It's
keep us in
time
your
to
prayers.
say good night.
Good night,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks
Everybody
for
be
coming on.
safe. It's a crazy world.
Night.
Mm-hmm.
Night,
Good night,
night.
Tim. Yeah, good.
Bye.
I'm hitting the end of the broadcast.
Good night
That's
from
gonna do it.
Animal.
I'm going to hit it.